Artside Decorating Center. Good morning to you. Welcome to hour number 2 of the Art Lewis Show. We're going to talk about Medicare this morning, and it's something that you say, well, wait a minute now. There was a window at the end of last year, and then there's another window this year, and that window's closed now. Why are we talking about Medicare? Well, we're going to find out this morning, because with MCare Choices returning for another visit, first of all, we say good morning to our friend Jeff Carrick. Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning, Art.
And you brought a sibling with you this morning, didn't you? What's
Yep.
the matter? You backing away?
My partner, my daughter, Kylie Nowak Carrick.
Good
And
morning.
Kylie, good morning to you.
Good morning, Art. Thanks for having us.
How did he suck you into the business?
You know, everyone asks me that, and I love that question because I love people, and just watching him be so passionate about something with his clients and helping them and seeing how they react was something that I wanted to be a part of. I loved watching him, and his clients love him. So.
He has a passion for it.
Absolutely.
I mean, after the years of talking to your dad, I know the passion is there. So I kind of kidded in the introduction here. There is a Medicare window in November, December. And you figure, okay, we're done. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden there's a window in the first quarter of the year. Mm-hmm. And you go, well, wait a minute. They told me this was the window. Why is this the window? And now that window's closed. And here we are talking about Medicare. What am I missing?
Well, Art, I think there's a lot more to it. There's clients that are turning 65. There's veterans, if you may be retiring and looking into your Medicare options. Also losing group coverage. That's another special enrollment period. So there's a lot of different elements and clients that we can help during this time.
For certain classes of individuals, there is no window. It's year-round, right?
Correct.
Technically.
If you're turning 65.
If you're turning 65, you lose your insurance, But you have to be, we were talking about this before the break, too. You have to be careful not, in some ways, to tie it to Social Security age, because Social Security age is a moving target for a lot of people.
Absolutely.
So the age for Medicare is still 65, isn't it?
Correct.
They haven't changed that, have you?
Nope. It is 65, and you can start figuring out your options 3 months prior to your 65th birthday, the month of your 65th birthday, and 3 months after.
What happens if you miss that?
There'll be a penalty.
There is a penalty for
Correct.
it.
Yes.
Now, that penalty is waived if you have insurance that's comparable or better, right?
Absolutely. Through group coverage. Yep.
Through group coverage.
Yep.
What if you have a private plan? Let me ask you this. If you have private insurance, all right, not group insurance, you buy your own medical insurance. You turn 65, are you going to get a letter from that company that says, time to go on Medicare?
Basically, if you're on private coverage, they're going to kick you off when you turn 65.
Yeah, that's the question.
Correct.
You put it a lot more bluntly than I would. But they will. You've got to move to Medicare, right?
Yep.
So, Kylie, from the time somebody sits down with you until the time they actually have coverage, how long?
I think that varies for every different client. So everyone has different needs, circumstances, situations. So it's dependent on meeting with the client, figuring out their needs, their timeline, and I kind of help them, guide them based on the information they give me and educate them on their options based on what's important to them, what's going on in their life. So it all varies.
I have to ask this. Why are there so many options? Why couldn't they have just created something that works and be done with it?
You know, that's a great question, and I think Medicare is just a hard arena to navigate through. So I take pride in that. Our job is to simplify those options and listen to your needs and what you have going on, and then I can educate you on all the options and not make it so overbearing on all those options, right? We can take what's important to you, what you need, and guide you and simplify it.
Because we're barraged with,
Absolutely.
Medicare Advantage commercials, the Alphabet Soup supplement advantages, we're barraged with, and it's confusing to most people, isn't it?
It is.
So somebody comes to you and says, all right, I'm going to turn 65. What do they need to bring with you? What's that first session like when they sit down with Kylie? What's that first session like?
Number one, I always tell them if they don't have their Medicare card, how to get started in that process. Number one, most important thing is bringing your prescriptions. I think that is a huge element into determining which plan is best for you based on that information, because that is super important.
So do I understand not all plans are created equally?
You've got it, Art.
Just sounded that way.
Yep, I like that. That is accurate.
All right, so they sit down with you. They've got their prescriptions. What else do you need to know about them?
I also like to ask them health questions. What do they have going on? How often do they see the doctor? Any issues that they may have going on or will continue to have going on? Just kind of getting to know them, their lifestyle, what's important to them. And then I'm a visual person, so I always have a presentation laid out for them to take home. So you meet one time, come back another time and sit with me, and you might have more questions. You might look back at that presentation piece of paper and something clicks and I have another question, or I get it. So that's kind of how I go about it.
So for that person coming in, they're turning 65. We'll take the basic case here.
Okay.
They're turning 65. How many of these multitude of options require a medical physical, for example? How many of them have preconditions?
So I'm going to say none, because if you're turning 65, whether you're getting Medicare supplement, you're in a guaranteed issue. Okay, Medicare Advantage, there is no pre-existing conditions, so there is no health questions.
So that first time, when you're 65,
Correct.
you come in.
Correct.
It's a free road to the insurance.
You got it. Yes.
So at what point, if, for example, you've had, let's take someone who's had coverage for a while, Medicare coverage. Maybe they have a supplement, right? And they decide during the window period they want to change. Medical conditions come into play then?
Correct. Outside of that initial turning 65, let's say you're 68, 70 years old and you have a Medicare supplement plan and you're looking to go in a different direction, I think it's super, super important to let your clients know that there is going to be health questions if you would like to go back to the Medicare supplement within that 1 year period. There is a 1 year free look period.
Oh, there is?
There is, yes.
So in that 1 year free look period, as
Yep.
you call it, what happens? I mean, if I change policies, I have a year to decide if I want to go back?
So if you go from a Medicare supplement plan to a Medicare Advantage plan.
Oh, okay.
Yep, I
Because
let them know.
that's the big difference.
Yes, that's a big difference, that there is a safety net out there that you have 12 months for, say, this is not what I thought it would be, or it's not working as I thought. You have 12 months to go back to that plan with no questions asked.
Let me ask you this then, because I'll be specific. I have Plan F, for
Yep.
example, my supplement plan, which is the granddaddy covers everything.
Yes, it is.
But my understanding is that's not sold anymore.
Correct.
So if I were to leave that and go to an Advantage plan, and 9 months later I say, nah, I want to go back to what I had, is that still available for me?
I'm so happy you asked that question. No, that is not. That is a
that's
I'm
that's
very
what I
happy you
thought.
asked that. Yes. You are grandfathered in that plan, but if you ever leave that plan,
You leave it, you're done.
You are done. There's
Then
with
you have
that
to go
plan.
to G or something else.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah. The alphabet soup. Gotta love it. We'll take a break, come back. We're talking to Jeff and Kylie from M Care Choices, and we will return. And if you have any questions about Medicare and Medicare Choices, by all means, give us a call.
And you can get dental, vision, hearing, all these over-the-counter benefits and so forth. The first question is, well, it's too good to be true. What's the catch? And there is no catch, because you've been paying into Medicare every week that you worked in your entire life, and now it's the federal government's turn to give back. And when it's a zero premium for you, and it's a private carrier, I mean, Medicare Choices is
They're
independent.
businesses.
We got independent carriers, all of the major carriers in the state of Michigan. And if you sign up with that plan, the federal government is going to give them an extraordinary amount of money every month to take care of your claims. So don't think that the carrier is your best friend. They're doing all this and they're losing money. They're not.
Well, I didn't figure they would be doing it if they were losing money. But they have to make adjustments somewhere along the line. I mean, it just seemed to me. And, the question now, with what's happening in Washington and going after waste and abuse and all of that stuff, is that going to catch up with some of these things?
I definitely think so. I mean, Everything's so new with everything that's going on with the Medicare and what they're talking about. There's a lot of things that we don't even know yet.
This has been my philosophy, and I don't want to get too much in the weeds with this, but my philosophy is, for those of us in my age bracket, and let's say 65 plus, who are getting Social Security, have Medicare, and all of that, they're not going to monkey with us. Too big a voting block. Those coming up behind, though, may find that what's available to them at some point in the future may be different than what it is now.
I'm sure there might be some cutbacks starting even as early as next year.
But that might impact what you sell.
It
It's
does.
possible. It will,
Absolutely.
right?
But the nice thing of it is we've got all the major carriers in the state of Michigan. So if you come to us, we've got computer software where we plug in your doctors, your prescriptions, your major wants and needs in your Medicare plan, and it helps us decide which plan is going to work best for you. So we are a no-fee service. It doesn't cost you one penny. We do get paid by the carrier, depending on who you signed up, a commission. We have to pay the bill somehow. But there's no cost on your end for us to do the free analysis for you.
And so when we do that, because you have all these carriers, is it safe to assume, unlike the alphabet soup plans that are all the same, Plan F from carrier A is the same as Plan F from carrier B, C, because the government says this is what it is.
The only thing that can be different is the premium.
That's not true in Advantage plans, is it?
That's correct.
In Advantage plans, there is competition, if you will.
Sure. Absolutely.
So if I come in, you put my information in, it's going to be tailored to what I need.
Correct.
Not all carriers are going to meet that.
Correct. That's why it's very important to schedule a no-fee meeting with us face-to-face. MCare Choices, formerly Medicare Choices, we cover the whole state of Michigan. I'm the CEO. We have over 40, close to 50 agents now, all over the state of Michigan. So if you've got somebody up north or down by Detroit or on the east side or west side of the state, we can help you out. We can assign you with one of our agents from that area. Kylie and I train all 40 to 50 agents. So we have to be the experts.
Mm-hmm.
How long does it take to learn all that stuff, Kylie? You had to do it.
I'm still learning art, and I love it. I feel like I know the ins and outs, and then the next day I learn something new. So it's a constant turning wheel. So.
How often does the government change the rules on you?
Every year.
Every year. Oh, it's never the same. But that's what I love about it, is that it keeps you learning and being able to help the clients with all this information that they think they have to obtain. No. That's why we're here to guide you.
On any of these plans, for example, Advantage plans, when we hear about zero premium to, or, blue in the face, is there an income test?
No. The only way that the income comes into play is with Medicare, you have Part A and Part B.
Right.
Part A, there is no cost. Part B, there is a premium. And if you make too much money, like myself, you pay more money for your Part B premium.
When you say, too much, I don't know what the cutoff is, but, it seems to me that I'm paying pretty much what everybody else I know is paying.
Mm-hmm.
For a single right now, and again,
single me.
It's $85,000. Mm-hmm. So if you make over $85,000 a year, you might pay a little bit more in your Part B premium. If you're married, I think it's $132,000.
And that $85,000, does that include Social Security and other things, or is that?
It is your
So it's your total taxable income.
Total taxable
Correct.
income.
Okay. Sorry to hear that. What can I tell you? Oh my goodness! But going back to that first visit, Kylie. Mm-hmm. There's no cost for me to sit down with you, and there's no obligation for me to sit down with you, right?
Not at all. Nope.
How long before you can you take all my information, you put it in your computer, you see my drugs, you see my doctor, you see all that stuff. How long before you say to me, well, here's plan, this is number 1, number 2, number 3, these are your choices?
Mm-hmm. You can enroll as early as 3 months prior to your 65th birthday.
How long does it take you to figure it out, though? How long does it take from that first session for you to know which plans are right for me? Or can you
Usually
tell
in
right
that
then?
first setting. Absolutely. I gather as much information, and we just sit down and have a conversation, and I find out your needs and wants, and I educate you based on what you're telling me. It's pretty much listening to your client, guiding them on what is important to them, and making sure that plan is accustomed to that.
Okay, so someone in my position where I already have A, B, Plan F, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I'm locked out. So I have to wait till that fall window comes along before I can make a change, right?
The annual enrollment period, October 15th through
Right.
December 7th.
That's when I can make a change. Except you have that accept look on your face, Kylie.
You can switch your Medicare supplement plans outside that window, but just know there will be, if you leave outside that 65 initial window, turning 65, you will have health questions.
Right.
Yes, I just like to add that you
Yeah.
can change your Medicare supplement plan.
But I can change my supplement plan. But can I go from supplement to Advantage
You cannot.
outside the window? I cannot, right?
Nope, correct.
That's. But I still can come into you and sit down and find out what it might look like for the future, right?
100%, absolutely. And I always say knowledge is power. So asking the questions now and having more questions down the road is just going to be better set to have the plan that you're in necessary at the time.
And the guy sitting to your right, if I remember right, created this hybrid plan, as he calls it.
Yes, the hybrid plan. It is
This
incredible.
This is just designed to confuse people even more.
Right. Yes. So,
But I have it for myself. I'm 68. I'm on
Yeah, no,
Medicare,
you
and
do.
I have the hybrid plan.
and
So
not-
tell us what it is, because it's outside of the norm.
Yes. And I won't dive too much into it, but I'll, touch the surface and
Yeah.
why you need to make an appointment just to hear about it. Because it's a hybrid plan that helps to fill in the gaps of those large copays in a Medicare Advantage plan.
I would his gaps in Medicare Advantage. We'll have to go back to that.
Yes.
I think I've told your dad this too. It reminds me of having Medicare and Aflac.
Absolutely.
It's the same kind of thing, isn't it?
Absolutely. And when I'm giving the presentation and explaining the hybrid plan, I use Aflac as my reference, right? Because everyone hears Aflac, knows the name. It's out there.
Yeah.
We use a different company, okay?
What same type of thing?
Same type of things. And it just helps fill in the gaps of those large co-pays in your Medicare Advantage plan that could ever meet you.
Okay.
Yep.
So let's go back to that, because we hear about these Advantage plans and we hear about zero premium, What don't we hear about? What are the gaps?
There's co-pays if you use it up to a max out of pocket, right? So there's large co-pays in Medicare Advantage plans that people don't like, that they're worried about. Inpatient hospital stay, skilled nursing, cancer. Well, if we can eliminate those large co-pays, right, there's that safety net of knowing they'll never have that major out of pocket because we fill in those gaps.
As opposed to having an alphabet soup plan which covers those gaps.
Correct.
My Plan F does the same thing,
Yep, you got it.
but I'm probably paying more for it in the long run.
Art, just like your Medicare supplement plan, you could be hospitalized 100 times in your life and not have any out of pocket. With the hybrid Medicare plan, even with the copays with the Medicare Advantage plan, I will have no out of pocket the rest of my life for hospitalizations.
You have to pay for it up front, though, and get reimbursed.
Not exactly, because
Oh, really?
when you go in the hospital, it takes time for that bill to come to you, and the bill is proof of the hospital indemnity company to pay, because they're not going to just take your word for it. I was in the hospital X amount of days.
So the indemnity company will pay me before I have to pay the bill. And then I can pay the
Correct.
bill.
Yes.
Normally, when they're submitted, if everything's done properly, they will.
And do you help me do that?
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
That's part of
Kylie helps everybody more than I do.
We'll pause on that, folks. We'll ponder that, and we'll be back with more after these notes.
Join us for our
Enemy referrals and so on and so forth, and I just took a real passion of what I did and leaned towards the Medicare. I do still do a little bit of health insurance, but I don't really advertise it.
And how did you draw Kylie in?
I told her, here's a chair, sit down. No, she had a degree in criminal justice.
Correct.
And
Yes.
I says, okay, now where are you going to go to work? You're going to, go to downtown Detroit and work in maybe some bad areas and stuff like that, or you want to sit here in a nice, friendly atmosphere with me and make good money doing it. And the main thing is you're helping out clients, and they just love what you do to help them out, especially when there's no fee.
Yeah, well, that's nice, too. I mean, it's nice to go into a business, do business with you, and not pay you anything. Although we are, but it is, it goes back to people. It's very difficult for people to understand how they can go into your business, get everything they need for $0, and you still get paid. And they're all scratching their head going, oh, wait a minute, it just doesn't sound right,
Sure.
It's one of those too good to be true situations, but it actually is, isn't it? It's really amazing.
Well, like I said before, it's, the carrier is getting money from the federal government to take care of all your claims, and we get paid out of that pot also.
It's one of the few things the government's done where the old saying, hi, we're from the government, we're here to help you, where they actually meant it.
Agree.
Because most of the time it doesn't work out that way.
Right.
It doesn't work out that way. And all of it is fairly tightly controlled, isn't it?
Very.
To the point where you had to change your name.
Yes.
Yes. We had to change the name because the federal government said we cannot have the word Medicare in our business name anymore, which was Medicare Choices. So we changed the name to MCare Choices, formerly Medicare Choices.
You could say formally that was okay. Huh?
Formerly was okay. So far, it's been okay. But I still have the habit of answering the phone Medicare Choices, but it might get me in trouble one day.
We're working on it.
Work on it,
Yes.
Kylie.
Kylie points the finger at me all the time.
Yeah. And, and these things, the Advantage plan of today is not the Advantage plan of tomorrow, is it? They change every year?
Mm-hmm.
It's since I've got into the business, there's been huge changes, and I can tell you, even this year, I can't really talk about it over the air, but if you're taking brand name medications and they're costing you a lot of money, we can help out, and that's where we come in. I had to make a plan change myself this year because I'm on a very high cost type 2 diabetes medication. That one medication would have cost me a $300 deductible first before it started being covered, and then a 19% coinsurance. Well, the cost of that drug with the 19% coinsurance was going to cost me $270 a month, each and every month for that one medication. So I switched to a plan that has no deductible on drugs, and instead of the 19% coinsurance, it's a $42 copay.
When you switch, let's say you're in an Advantage plan and you have to switch. When you gain what you gained in terms of no deductibles, do you lose something somewhere else?
Not necessarily. I mean, I still have dental, vision, hearing. I've got a fantastic over-the-counter benefit.
So you really do have to sit down and look at each and every facet of it, don't you?
I can even purchase over-the-counter medications and food items, healthy foods, from Myers with my over-the-counter benefit.
You get so much a month loaded in a card. Is that the way that works?
Per quarter.
Per quarter?
Yep.
All right, we're going to take a break, come back, finish up as we chat with our guests from MCare Choices, and we'll give you contact information and all of that, too, before we're done here on the Art Lewis Show. Let's talk about food for a minute here. Let's talk about Krysiak's House Family Restaurant. Best place to go for your authentic home-cooked foods with a European flair at reasonable prices. Now's the time to think about getting together with friends and family for lunch or dinner, as well as events coming up soon. Graduations, confirmations, weddings, showers, anniversaries. Krysiak's has an economical way for you to supply the food. You can order what you want in Polish and American foods and then just pick it up at the restaurant, ready to go, or better yet, why don't you have your celebration right there at the restaurant? And don't forget, at a moment's notice, Krysiak's can help. give them a call at 989-894-5531, 894-5531. Krishak's House Family Restaurant, corner of Cass and Michigan, on Bay City's south side.
When you're hiring,
All right, back with you, talking about Medicare and Advantage plans and supplements and all that fun stuff that we all have to put up with at some point in life, folks. And with us, Jeff and Kylie, the Carricks from M-Care Choices. I want to go back to talk about Advantage plans and how different they can be. Plan A to Plan B to Plan C, they're not all equal, are they?
Correct.
So how different can they be? What are the big differences?
As in the different type of plans, or A, B, and C?
Yeah, but the different types of Advantage plans, and does a person qualify for all of them?
Oh, absolutely. As you know, that you're turning 65 and older. The plans vary, and that's why I think it's so important to meet every year with your agents, because everything changes, and making sure you're in the right plan based on your needs that year.
If you get an Advantage plan, the next year, can that plan itself change?
Absolutely.
Oh,
Absolutely. That's why I tell all my clients, sit and let's review what has changed with you. I can tell you and studied the plans prior to open enrollment and let you know what's changed.
so during open enrollment, is it a free move? If I don't like the plan I'm in because it's lost some things, another plan picks something up, I can just switch.
Starting October 1st, we can discuss the plans. October 15th to December 7th, we have that time to make as many changes based on the plan that you need to start effective January 1 for that next year.
All Medicare Advantage plans are guaranteed issues. There are no health questions whatsoever.
Correct.
Wow.
Yep. So you could have a heart attack, diabetes, whatever, and it's guaranteed issue for everyone.
And are all Advantage plans accepted at all hospitals, for example? Or are there certain carriers that certain hospitals don't?
That's a great question. So, not to go into too much detail, but you want to make sure you're in the right Medicare Advantage plans, because some Medicare Advantage plans might need referrals, or you need to stay in network. If you go out of network, it may have a higher copay. So it's super important to know there are different Medicare Advantage plans and put you in the right one based on the hospitals, doctors, and so forth.
And the next question I have, are these HMOs where I'm going to be told who I have to go to? Or are there plans where I can pick my doc?
Yep. And that's the very, very important thing of, I always put my clients in PPOs. Okay? My mom had breast cancer, so I want you to be able to go to the best hospital, best doctors, based on what is going on in your life at the time, without the headaches of the referrals, staying in networks. Oh, you can't go to this hospital because they don't accept that plan.
That's why it's important when I sit down with you to say, this is my doctor.
And yes, absolutely. So that I make sure that the plan we put you in is you can stay with the same doctors, specialists, dentists, whatever is important to you. I want to customize that plan based on what is important to you and what you need.
And then, so the plans change the 1st of January, which means the 1st of January, I've got to tell my doctor I have a new plan.
Yep.
Just new numbers.
Yep. You'll get a new card in the mail based on whatever carrier you go with. And what's nice is that once we enroll you in a different Medicare Advantage plan, it'll kick you out. Your new one will start, and all you have to do is you'll get your new card and show them the new card.
Do people change a lot? Change plans a lot? Or do they stay with what they have?
That's a tough question.
Yeah.
Good.
Yep.
They don't change as much as you think they would.
Yep, that's what I was going to say.
But, in certain cases, just like myself this year, it was
situational.
It was a no-brainer for me to switch because of the medications that I'm on.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a driving force. I mean, everybody's different.
Mm-hmm.
And then there have been other people that have been on the same plan for over 10 years.
Absolutely.
Here I am.
It's me.
It's me. Anyway, let's talk about contacting you. How do we do that?
Yes, you can call our phone number at 989-899-7820, or stop in. We're located inside Mid-Valley Insurance on Gratiot and Shields.
Where on Gratiot are you?
Oh.
You know what the... Mid Valley? I know I've seen it, but
We're right in front of Swan Valley Golf Course,
Yes.
very close to
right.
Crooked Creek Golf Course, right next to Garber
Right.
Car Dealership, right there on Gratiot and Shields.
right.
Now,